Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome to Sons of Liberty 1773. This is indeed where men and women from around the world gather in defense of liberty. I am your host, Bill Bailey, who will be channeling the patriotism of America's founding fathers, such as Alexander Hamilton, who said, "If the representatives of the people betray their constituents, there is then no recourse left but the exertion of that original right of self-defense, which is paramount to all positive forms of government." Indeed. So where do we start, folks? Why don't we start with this? The ongoing open invasion of America continues to be our greatest threat. The Biden communists remain letting our enemies flood across our southern border. Listen to this post on X, formerly Twitter, by Tony Saruga. I'm probably screwing his name up, I'm sorry. He says, "This post will be attacked by the left, the Marxists, the trolls, Antifa, BLM, even the intelligence community. I am a 39-year intelligence analyst." Guy's got some credo, right? Continuing, "I and my team's clients include the United States government, British government, Israeli government, Saudi Arabian government," and he goes on with his accolades. He's worked for a lot of big corporations, including Berkshire Hathaway, General Dynamics. Continuing with his post, he says, "Intelligence is never perfect. It's messy business. Rarely can I guarantee the intelligence. Many times just releasing it in the wild can stop a false flag or genuine attack. But with as close to 100% confidence as possible, there will be multiple terrorist attacks in the U.S. I'm going to repeat that. But with as close to 100% confidence as possible, there will be multiple terrorist attacks in the U.S. The attacks will come in waves for the next 14 months. Hundreds of thousands of CCP saboteurs trained to attack our electric grid, poison our water supply, destroy our railways and main highway arteries. Additionally, at least 1 million, possibly 2 million terrorists are already here from Palestine, Yemen, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Qatar, Lebanon, Iran, Somalia, etc., etc. And they are extremely well funded. And get this, the Biden administration, working with the UN, has given them debit cards that are reloaded every month. Below are links to 3 articles on Hezbollah Unit 910, a sleeper cell already in the U.S., awaiting the green light from Persia to launch attacks. This is just one group of hundreds here to destroy America. And if you want to look at those links, just go on X and search his name. It's Tony Serga. I'll spell it Seruga. And you can find that post in the attached links that are there. And I will say over here, I've got a lot of stuff on my desk here, folks, to reference as we go through this. The Washington Times reports, FBI says terrorism threat hits a whole other level after Hamas attack. Terrorist threats against the U.S. reach a whole other level after the Hamas attacks on Israel. FBI Director, POS by the way, Christopher A. Wray told Congress on Tuesday, saying the big players in terrorism have all renewed calls to attack America and its interests. He said the level of threats has heightened since President Biden took office, though U.S. law enforcement is better prepared to deal with them. I don't believe that for a second. Not for a second. That we're better prepared to deal with the millions they've let charge across our southern border that are here. We're somehow better prepared to deal with them. No, I don't think so. He goes on, the reality is that terrorism threat has been elevated throughout 2023, but the ongoing war in the Middle East has raised the threat of attack on America to a whole other level, Mr. Wray, again, who is a POS, said. He also said Al-Qaeda has issued its most specific call for attacks on the U.S. in years. Islamic State leaders have ordered followers to attack Jewish communities, and Hezbollah is eyeing U.S. targets in the Middle East. Iran, meanwhile, has pushed proxy attacks on U.S. military bases. Look, this is the greatest threat to America, is this. They flooded America with their enemies. They haven't opened the borders up to people that are escaping totalitarian countries or poverty to come here, solely to come here and contribute to America, to say an oath of allegiance to the United States of America like you used to have to do when you immigrated through Ellis Island, along with go through a quarantine, right? Because we wanted to make sure healthy people were coming to America and that they were going to be somebody that would contribute to America. But none of that. Throw all that out the window, folks. These are the worst of the worst that are coming into this country. And, they're watering down our society with evil. And it's not good. It is not good at all. So continuing here, Jamaican-born Judge Tanya Chutkan blocks DOJ request to jail Trump over gag order violation. U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan, the leftist loon judge, again, not born in America, in Donald Trump's election interference case, threw the former president a lifeline during a late Sunday filing. I don't know why. Maybe she's a little scared that people might think she's overstepping her bounds. Newsweek reported that Chutkan turned away a request from the Department of Justice to put Trump in jail for violating a gag order she reimposed on him. In a footnote reinstating the gag order, the judge denied federal prosecutors' request to incorporate her order into the conditions of Trump's release. And I got some other, I just feel terrible. Donald Trump's. Anybody loves America more than Donald Trump? That really has our back, the American people, that is willing to risk it all. His life, his wealth, for America, for us, and for his family, and for all those people that have gave their life for this country. Trump is truly a patriot. The only president I know since George Washington that didn't take any presidential pay. Now people go, well, they did give Washington back. They gave him money. Yeah, they gave him back the money that he personally took out of his estate and his finances during the war. And they had to pressure him to do that. So he did. But Trump has been a patriot. DC Drano posted, nobody got arrested for lying about the Iraq invasion. Nobody got arrested for collapsing the economy in 2008. Nobody got arrested for unleashing COVID. Yet President Trump got indicted 4 times for fighting the deep state and having 4 years of peace, and I will add prosperity, and making America great again. That's Trump's sin. So the Gateway Pundit is reporting, headline, Jim Hoff. They do some great work over at the Gateway Pundit. If you're not following the Gateway Pundit, shame on you. Go look them up when you're done with this video, thegatewaypundit.com, and start looking through their articles. Truly truth tellers over there, and we need some of that, right, in this Orwellian world we're living in. So persecution of Trump family. Crooked New York judge calls in first son Donald Trump Jr., which I saw is there in court today, to testify in lawfare show trial. Entire family must be destroyed and humiliated by the radical left. This is an article by Jim Hoft. Again, he does great work. After the fall of Russia to the godless communists in 1917, this was the Bolshevik Revolution, the Russian Imperial Romanov family, Nicholas II of Russia, his wife Alexandra, and their 5 children were shot and bayoneted to death by Bolshevik revolutionaries. Like any good communist movement, the regime deposed of previous political powers. And that's what we're seeing here with this witch hunt on Trump, right? They've got to get him. He's crushing it in the polls. If Trump is allowed to be on the ballot, I don't care what Democrat they run, Trump is going to be president. He's their number one enemy, Trump and MAGA, of course. And they're, they continue putting their political opponents in jail, right? The January 6 protesters. Now they're going after using GPS data from the phones after people that simply were there. They're going after them now. Really tyranny we're living under. In Colorado, this is today's article in the Colorado Free Press. Headline, trial to remove Trump from Colorado ballot continues in Denver. Yesterday began what will be remembered as a landmark trial in Denver District Court, the civil case to determine whether President Donald Trump is ineligible to hold public office in the U.S. anymore. And this is a bullshit court case. They're perverting the Constitution, that Trump is an insurrectionist. It's a Civil War era amendments to stop people that were involved in the Confederacy from running for office. It's just pure evil, and to stop Trump from being on the ballot. And what's going on here? This is a far left judge, and when he appeals it, it's going to be to a far left Colorado Supreme Court. And while this is going on, and the left gets a couple victories before this will be overturned in the federal Supreme Court, other states will start running with this. And Trump, on the defense or offense, however you want to look at this, probably an offensive play, is filing a lawsuit in Michigan to stop them from doing a similar action. The Atlantic, which is a, you ever read the articles at the Atlantic? They'll put you to sleep. The writers there think if they write an article that's 50 pages long, rehashing a subject, that Trump is evil or something, whatever it is, that the longer they write about it and they keep repeating the same subject, the more believable the lie will be. However, even the Atlantic gets it right apparently once in a while. I don't know if you can see this headline. Donald Trump deserves a fair trial just like anyone else. This is an article over there by Adam J. White. Couldn't agree more. Complete lawfare against Donald Trump. What they're doing to Donald Trump is unconstitutional. It's illegal. These attorneys and judges are breaking the law. They know it. They don't care, because they believe they're part of the American Bolshevik Revolution that started on November 3, and they're following through with just, trying to destroy their political enemies. So moving over to the Middle East, to what's going on over there. Leaked Biden administration is said to be considering stationing troops in Gaza as some type of peacekeeping force with military personnel from other countries. Nevertheless, the Biden administration is denying the reports. National Security Council spokesperson Adrian Watson told Bloomberg that sending U.S. troops to Gaza as part of a peacekeeping force is not something that's being considered or is under discussion. I call BS on that. Sure they're thinking about it. Hamas official Ghazi Hamad says they will repeat the barbaric October 7th like attacks on Israel until it's annihilated. That's what Israel's up against, and that's why they're leveling Gaza. Have you seen the images? I mean, they're just completely graphic, but it's like 300 miles of tunnels under Gaza, and these are fortified concrete tunnels, deep, I think hundreds of feet underground, some of them. And this is where these terrorists hide, and then they come out like demons and attack again. And so Israel's going to go in and take care of this tunnel system. The war is going to get worse over there. There's no doubt. Matter of fact, on that note, this here, just today, I take that back. It was yesterday, posted October 31st, 2023, yesterday. I hope this letter finds you in good health and high spirits. Regretfully, and with a strong sense of duty, I write to inform you of a decision that I had to make regarding the Marine Corps' 248th ball. Scheduled for November 16th this month, Due to unforeseen operational commitments and the nature of our current mission, it is with great regret that we must cancel this year's event. And this is from C.A. McPhillips, who is a major general in the U.S. Marine Corps and is with Central Command. So they canceled the 248th Marine Ball because why? They're getting deployed. Why? Because we're going to war, folks. Unfortunately, that's my opinion. You can think what you want, but I feel pretty strongly about that. 2 carrier groups over there now, dozens of destroyers and support ships. I'm hearing a third aircraft carrier is about to be deployed. And when you start putting that much, that many warships in a region, cost a lot of money to move them. When they all bear down on a certain area, it's getting real. The United States Air Force just this morning successfully launched a Minuteman III ICBM from the Vandenberg Air Force Base, as we prepare for nuclear world war. On a good note, Mike Johnson, who hopefully is divine intervention, I believe it could be that Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House, a Christian moral person, just had the best fundraising week of the cycle, more than McCarthy was raising. So that's good news. Nobody wants to send their money to evil, but when we get a good person, we want to financially support them, right? And then the Biden corruption. House oversight has uncovered that Joe Biden received $40,000, 10% of $400,000 amount, by the way, 10% for the big guy, and laundered Chinese money from brother James Biden, an amount that just happens to be equal to 10% for the big guy. This is actually no surprise to me. We all know Joe is on the take. What would surprise me is if Congress actually does something, like impeach the criminal, child-sniffing, pervert, sicko. Just unbelievable that Trump did nothing wrong. Impeached twice. His crime was working for the American people and standing up against the deep state and the globalists. Biden, however, is guilty of sin. And they're getting away with it. Nothing's happening. And this latest evil from the tyrannical state, Owen Schroyer, who I love, journalist on InfoWars, young guy, very smart, he's been at it for a lot of years now, so he's really good at his job, does a lot of research. Really like watching him. I try to watch him every morning. If I don't see him live during the day, I'll watch him the next morning when I get up. So Owen Schroyer, who is currently in federal prison for exercising his First Amendment rights during the January 6th protest, his crime was probably shouting 1776, has now been thrown back in solitary confinement for calling a friend and posting a message on X. Unbelievable, folks, that we're living in America and our constitutional rights are just being, stomped on. We're, putting a jackboot to our throat, this evil government. And it was okay in 2016 when all the Democrats protested the election and said Trump was illegitimate. Any of those people in prison? This is the Bolshevik Revolution 2.0 in America. I think the war, on that note, I think we're heading for World War III, my friends, and I hate to say it. And I don't know when it's going to start. As China, which I believe they're they're behind the curtain, pulling the strings to try, get us involved in spending our war treasure in Ukraine and, getting us to go to war in the Middle East. Because if we're bogged down in 2 wars, And they're doing unannounced exercises now around Taiwan. And Taiwan's a strategic. First off, the Taiwanese people are our true allies. They show what China could be like had the Maoist revolution not happened. Taiwan is a thriving country, and it's a strategic military base for us. And it's, Taiwan is a threat to the commies, to the Maoists. And all we've been doing since President Nixon and Henry Kissinger, which it was really, I used to blame Nixon, but it was more Henry Kissinger, saw cheap labor. Hey, we can get rich off cheap labor. America will thrive. We'll fight inflation and we'll help China. Yeah, we did. We helped the commies build a military that's going to soon rival ours if we don't get our act together. We built that. Those things. Shows Joe. I did that. The little stickers they're putting on the gas pump. We could have us Americans on a sticker pointing at the Chinese military, and we can all say we built that, because the fact is we did, right? We all bought the Chinese crap. We still do. Can't be helped. Even when you don't want to buy a vehicle that's made in China, any of the big three, there's parts on those vehicles made in China. You can't get away from it. We should have never did business with the Chinese communists. The discussion should have been with Nixon and Kissinger. Said, we want to make China a great nation. We want to make your people rich. We want to see you live the greatest lives. But you got to get rid of communism before we can help you. Come up with some form of fair democracy, and then we can talk. But no, let's fund the commies. In this regime, the Biden regime, have created an alliance of our enemies that actually hate one another, like Russia and China. They're becoming best friends now, because they realize that individually they can't defeat America, but together maybe they can. Probably they can. So you're seeing the access of evil thanks to Joe Biden of China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, probably Turkey at some point, and some other, totalitarian regimes that will join forces with them. So we're fast tracking to World War III thanks to the Biden administration. Our greatest tool against this evil in America and the world is praying daily to the Almighty God. 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and heal their land. Psalms 33:12, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. So keep praying and keep prepping. May God bless you and keep you and your family safe. Until next time, Sons of Liberty out.